Imagine for a minute that you're struggling to get something correct. That for some reason, no matter what you do, you can't seem to crack the formula to get this, that they get this thing that you're trying to do correct. But the person who has done it really well reaches out to you and says, you need any help? I'm willing to assist you. Now, most people with any degree of absolute sense in their brain at all would think to themselves, okay, sure, I'd love to get some help, or I would love to get your input on something where you could look over what I have and see what could be done. Sounds reasonable enough. Well, not when you're the idiots over at the MCU, because these nut jobs haven't been able to figure out a way to get Blade to work for like 6 years. And when the man who actually wrote the first two Blade scripts that were acclaimed, one of the best you'll ever get, reaches out and says, you need any help? I'm willing to help. They decided to tell him, no, we know exactly what we're doing. Boy, then that idiocy failed fast. Dive into this article here from Bounding into Comics. Original Blade trilogy writer David Goyer offered to help Marvel with the stalled reboot, but they refused, thinking they had it figured out. Yeah, imagine being that stupid. If there was anybody who could crack a Blade script barring 2004's Trinity, you'd think it would be David Goyer, writer of the original 1998 hit that starred Wesley Snipes, was directed by Stephen Norrington and launched the character along with darker comic properties in general into an unforeseen stratosphere of popularity still with us today. Yeah, that's the guy you should really be listening to. Because apart from Blade Trinity, which is a horrible movie and we all try to pretend it never happened, the first two were absolutely fantastic. So this is the person you should really be reaching out to get some help with it. But no. However, the geniuses at Marvel don't agree. As Goyer attests, though it's through his agent, he reached out to see if he could help in any way with the stalled reboot led by Mahershala Ali. They, being an entity with matters well in hand, rebuffed his advances. This is what you had to say. It's so funny. About 8 months ago, when not the latest hiccup hit, but like the prior hiccup, I had so many people that would say to me, dude, would you get in there on Blade? Would you just get in there? Whether it be friends or fans or people on social media, right? This is what Goyer said in an interview in Variety. And I wasn't even really thinking about it, but then I had my agent call Marvel and say, do you guys need any help? And they said, we love you, but we think we've cracked it now and we're in a good place. And then the latest thing happened, and so no, they haven't contacted me, Goyer added. Who is working on Blade is a mystery to him, but Goyer would consider chipping in if asked. Whoever is in charge of the project script, who isn't named Kevin Feige, is probably overconfident in their abilities as they haven't delivered on a project that is 6 years in the making. Look, the bottom line, and I've said this before and I'll keep saying it, the reason this keeps becoming a problem is because Kevin Feige and the rest of these idiots over there at the MCU want this to be a movie about Blade's daughter. That's what they want. They want Blade's daughter to take over. They don't seem to want to understand. Nobody cares about Blade's daughter. Most people don't even know Blade has a daughter. Most people don't even care if Blade has a daughter. Because Blade is Blade and people like Blade. But no, when you keep wanting to push the MCU, this is what you keep doing. The man reached out to you all through his agent and said, listen, do you guys need any help? I'm willing to help. But no, when you have your head so far up your ass, you decide to respond, we love you, but we think we've cracked it now and we're in a good place. And then more crap happens. This movie has gone through like what? 3 directors, probably like about 5 or 6 writers. It's been stalled because it's been like 6 years and nothing. absolutely nothing. This is the kind of nonsense that you keep doing because you don't want to listen. You want to do a Blade daughter, Blade and his daughter, rather than something good. And I'm telling you, if they decide to put this out, eventually it's going to be absolute garbage. You could see that coming from a mile away. The most recent writer attached was Eric Pearson, the scribe of Thor Ragnarok. He was one of 4 names that have been on board over the years, including Michael Starbury, Nick Pizzolatto, and Michael Green. The reboot was first announced to fanfare in 2019 when Mahershala Ali was at the height of his career following Moonlight. So yeah, like I said, there was about 5 writers so far. They announced it in 2019. We're in 2025 now. So that's 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. 6 years and nothing. Fast forward to now, and Ali is in the dark. I don't know where Marvel is at right now. I would love for Blade to happen, he told the Hollywood Reporter. Unfortunately for him, it might not. Tentative co-star Delroy Lindo recently confessed that the production went off the rails contrary to Marvel's suspect optimism. Of course, every time somebody turns in a script, they're telling them, listen, rework this in a way to make Blade's daughter important. And this is where the crap keeps hitting the fan. When Marvel came to me, they seemed to be really interested in my input, Lindo said. And in the various conversations I had with producers, the writer, the director at the time, it was all leading into being very inclusive. It was really exciting conceptually, but it was also exciting in terms of the character that was going to form. And then for whatever reason, it just went off the rails. I know exactly why it went off the rails. Marvel wants to make Blade's daughter the focal point of this. And even if they attempt not to, which is highly unlikely, they're going to screw up Blade so badly in that movie so they could bring in his daughter. That's what they want. That's what they want. But the man who actually know how to write Blade, who wrote the first 2 great movies, we don't talk about the third, but the first 2 great movies, actually reached out to help you. He returned to say, listen, you guys need some help. And they were like, you know what, we love you, but we think we've got it cracked now, and we're going to go and screw it up again and then never call you because we're ashamed of how absolutely stupid we are. That's what you got. That is the level of absolute idiocy of these people, right? The man reached out to you to help and you refused it and still can't get the damn thing off the ground. This is a continuation of an absolute embarrassment for Marvel. That's what that is. But that's what Blade has continued to be, and that's what it's going to continue to be as long as you don't get rid of these idiots who don't know how to write anything. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. You have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.